Good evening, Dr. Dharmendra sir.
Very good evening, Dr. Singh, and good evening to all the participants. So perhaps our resource person has joined, Dr. Yusuf. Okay, so
Yes, I am here, Dr.
yeah,
Dharmendra.
very good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
So thank you for being with us. So we can wait more 5 minutes because participants are joining. So after that we will start, sir.
Recording in progress.
So very good evening to all the participants and welcome to this 6th day of 1 week online faculty development program on advanced research methodology. Myself, Dr. Dilshad. Welcome to all of you. And it's really a great privilege for us that our esteemed resource person for today, Dr. Yusuf Akhtar, has joined. So welcome you, sir. And thanks for being with us.
Yes, thank you.
So Dr. Yusuf is a faculty at Department of Biotechnology at Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar Central University, Lucknow. He did his PhD from University of Hyderabad and postdoctorate from European Molecular Biology Laboratory, Hamburg, Germany. He has been the DOT long-term fellow during 2007 to 9 and IMBO long-term fellow during 2010 to 12. He has teaching and research experience of more than 10 years. He has more than 80 research publications in various journals of national and international repute. He has supervised more than 8 PhD students. He has been more than 15 awards in his credit for his outstanding research in biotechnology. He is also a member of many national and international scientific bodies. He has delivered many vital talks in India and abroad. He is an associate editor in Frontiers in Genetics, Bioinformatics, and Computing Biology. He is associate editor of many journals like scientific bodies, BMC Genomics, BMC Microbiology, Archive of Microbiology, and many more. He is very active and very wonderful academician and researcher. He is so humble that despite of his busy schedule, he is always available to Science and Technology, Science Tech Institute, for sharing his knowledge and experiences. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us. And on the behalf of organizing committee and my own behalf, I welcome you, sir. Sir, Dr. Yusuf Akhtar, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Dharmendra, for giving this generous introduction. And I will not take much time and I will start for what we all are gathered here. So yeah, like from the title itself, you know about what we are going to talk. So I'm trying to return it. Yeah. Yeah. Could you see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So the topic of today's session is basically report writing or research writing. So we should basically most of us, or I could see there are many people who are already PhD in the audience. So means if we try to understand that the research process, what is research process? So research process is basically we pose some research question, and then we use different tools and techniques or theoretical framework or calculations, and then we answer or we address that scientific question, whatever we have posed when we have made hypothesis. Okay, so means hypothesis or objective we make first, and then we use some methodology or some tool to address that scientific question, and then basically we this is research. And usually uh, what kind of scientific question or what kind of objectives we design in our hypothesis, basically uh, some whatever field in whatever field we work, there are some unanswered questions. So we choose those questions to means we choose to address those questions with our research. Okay. So ultimately what happens, ultimately when we finish our analysis, then basically we want to communicate those results. Means if let's say somebody in Lucknow or somebody in Banaras or somebody in Bangalore has done some research, how they have done that research, like I said, they first pose a question and then they use scientific methodology or social science methodology, and then they address those questions, and then they conclude and they try to uh, give possible answers for that question, so which was not solved previously. So so in research we always do something which is not which has not done by anybody, no? So anyway, so now somebody has solved some question, let's say in Lucknow, in Bangalore, in Madurai, or in Ernakulam, or in Banaras, or in Balia, or in Gazipur. So now how everybody will know that that question or the useful piece of information which basically we have produced, that information, how we will disseminate, how we will send across, so that all the interested people in the field will get that. So for that we do research communication or research writing. So basically research writing or report writing means when so it is the last step of research. So when we write a report, let's say we are doing some project, we are doing some scientific project or social science project. So in the end, when we will achieve all the objectives, we will write a report, and that report will be submitted either, if it is a funded project, then it will be submitted to the funding agency, or let's say it is a dissertation project, then it will be means some master's student have done some project, or some PhD student has done some project, then they will write this report. So if it is PhD student, then it is a thesis. So that report will be submitted to the degree awarding institute in case of students, if they completed some project, or if it is a funded project from some agency, then the PI will submit that report to the agency. Okay. And how you will then another type of scientific writing is research writing. Means research paper writing, or you can say research publication. So research publication could have several types. Okay, so I will come to that. Before that, there is a there is a there is a very well known saying, publish or perish. Means if you are in academia, if you are in research field, then if you will not publish, then you will perish. So means do or die. Either you have to publish or you will be perished. Okay. So there was one scholar, his name was Peel. He said, without publication, science is dead. So it means, so it is correct. Both the quotes are correct, because in academia or in research field, if somebody will evaluate you, that whether you are a productive person, you are doing your work or not, then how they will judge you? They will look at your publications. If you want to get a job, if you want to be promoted, then you will show your publication. The evaluators will check on your publication. Or you apply for some research grant, there also they will look at your publication. Okay, so, and why he said without publication science is dead? Because let's say I explained that, like if somebody in Gazipur or in somebody in Ernakulam district of Kerala, they did some piece of research. Dr. Dharmen, there is some disturbance. Now, can I continue?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. So if that piece of information will the people, the scientist or the professor or the academician who has produced that piece of information, that will stay in Gazipur or Ernakulam district of Kerala, then how other people know this new information? So science, if science has to progress, or means research field, any research field, even it is social science or humanities or languages, if some new thing is there, then it should be published, and it should be published to a platform where potentially most interested people in that subject can access that information. So that's why we choose journals or magazines according to the topic of our research. Okay, so we will see how these things work. Okay, so basically in this session, I will try to see or try to discuss in brief types of articles, types of scholarly publishing distribution models. So again, go back what I discussed just. Distribution models. Okay. So distribution means if we will publish, so there should be a distribution model, how it will go to all the potentially interested people in the field. So that's why there are several distribution models of publishing. I will discuss one by one. So targeting journals, how we, when we do research, then how we look in which journal we are going to publish our research. Impact factors and scholarly metrics. Predatory journal scams. Okay. So what is impact factor? Everybody, this means impact. Everybody talk about when we come in new in field. What we think? Why this Kolawari? Why this everybody uh, bother, or everybody think, or everybody talks about this impact factor? So that also we will discuss. Then predatory journal scams, and this is very important, because if we are publishing the piece of information which we have produced during our research, that should not go to the waste place where the potentially interested people will not able to read it, or basically if it will go to a fake journal. So predatory journals are fake journals. Then when people will evaluate that research, they will not basically give the due credit, or they will not look at it with respect. Okay, so what publishers wants: criteria used by editors, key features of well written articles, the writing process. So these all aspects I will try to cover slowly. Okay, so types of articles. So any means what types of, means you can say format, means in which form the articles are published. So one is refereed conference proceedings. When we say refereed conference proceedings, so it depends upon field actually. Like in sciences, this is very less, because in sciences usually if you go to a conference, either you give a invited or oral presentation, and or you will just show a poster, and uh, the organizers, they publish just a book of abstracts. So it is not full length paper, it is just abstract, and we don't present complete paper there. But in other fields like mathematics or in social sciences, there are refereed conference proceedings. So when, let's say uh, there is a conference in August 2023. So what will happen? There will be a deadline of submitting papers, and it will go to peer reviewers. I will tell you in detail how peer reviewing and edit how peer reviewers and editors, they work basically. And that will come later. Okay, so peer reviewers are, for now you should know that peer reviewers are who are peer reviewers. Peer means who are equivalent. So basically, if you are working in, let's say you are working in tortoise physiology, you work on kachua physiology. So in tortoise physiology, other people in the around the world who are working and who are publishing regularly or recently, then editor usually search those people by using keywords, and he will send your paper to those people, and these people will remain anonymous. So it is called single blind peer review system. So I will come to that later. Single blind, double blind, etc., etc. But for you, who are the peers? Who peers are the people who work in the similar field like you, and means people try to find good good scientific worker in that field who will review your paper. Okay, so then refereed journal articles. So refereed journal articles, or sometimes it is called research articles, these are those articles, means regular research articles. Like somebody has done some experiments, like I said, means you will set some hypothesis, some objectives, and you will use some experimental or theoretical or mathematical tools to to address those questions, and you write, in the end you write everything and you send. So you will write, there is a particular structure of these papers. This we will discuss. So then there are review articles. So let's say you are working in some particular field. For example, I was working in my PhD on a protein from Mycobacterium tuberculosis which causes tuberculosis. So when I published 3-4 papers on particular topic on that particular protein which on which I was working in my PhD, then what happens? Then I, let's say, in last 5 years, my papers, let's say I have published 3-4 papers, and then other people also publish, let's say, 10-15 papers in on the same topic. But these will be different works, no? Not different aspect of the same problem. So what I can do, as I have published 3-4 papers, I will take my results and other people results, and I will try to look that in last 5 or 10 years what is means overall picture of this field. And if I write those accounts, means, let's say, because when you will write single research paper, you write only those results which you have performed. And when you will write review, what you will do, you will analyze uh, all papers by you and others in the field published in last 5 or 10 years, and then you try to try to extract take home message from all of them, and then try to see what are the conclusions from all those 10-15 year work which was published. Because sometimes what happen, somebody will publish something, then there will be a paper which will oppose that. But so how, that's how science progress. You will do some experiment, then somebody will do some more fine experiment, and with more data he will come up and he will say that your findings were correct or your findings were wrong. Correct? In the light of new data, the field will change or the piece of information will change. So review article should have all those information and the updated information up, of the current time. So usually that's why it is preferable that one should write review article only when he has published research papers in the same field, because then only it makes sense, na? Because then you have worked for some time, and then you know everything, and because you are working in that field, so you will also read in those 5 years or 10 years, you were reading all those literature which was coming up. Okay, then there is another format of these articles are letters. So basically some high impact journals, they started publishing letters, because what happened, previously it was previously all the journals were not online journals, they were mostly print journals before the time of internet. So what used to happen, that if there is some hot research, means, let's say, some very new results which are very important, and the editor has already assigned, let's say let's say he has to publish 10 papers in a issue, and he has already assigned 8, 9 or 10 papers already. So what editor used to suggest to such authors, that please convert your full length research article into letter format. It means, like, if full length article is like 5,000 words with 5 figures and tables, so that will take a lot of space. But but they will suggest that okay, you just brief your findings in 1000 words and it will be published as letters. So the arrangement was that it will be published in this issue only, but you will get very less space. So such articles are called letters. And then there are, so this is called as research letters. Then there is another type of letter, that is letter to editor. So what is letter to editor? Let's say in last issue some authors have published some paper, but when you read the paper, means somebody, me, you, or anybody, we read when the issue came out and we read the paper. So what we found, that there is some ambiguity, or we want to add more some more piece of information in the same paper, which is published by somebody else in the last issue. So what we will write? We will write a letter to editor, and we will either we have an objection on some of the results, or we want to support. So what we will do? We will write letter to editor. So we will write that, dear editor, uh, in in your journal's last issue, this paper so and so has been published, and we would like to add some more information in that. So that is letter to editor. Anyway, so these are types of articles. Those are published in journals. Okay, so now we will talk about types of distribution models for scholarly publishing. So the traditional model, traditional model was subscription model. And in subscription model, what happens? In subscription model, basically authors don't have to pay. Authors, and that is classical model, means authors will just submit the paper, and if the reviewers will suggest some revision, they will do revision and again submit the revised manuscript, and at the end of the day it will be published. After 2 3 4 months, 5 months, it will be accepted and then published. So but if somebody want to read that paper, then they have to pay. So this paper will behind the paywall. I think you understand what I'm saying. So, and usually this is expensive. So what happens? Usually what we see, big universities or big libraries, they buy this subscription. Usually funds from some trust or funds from the government, like government universities, they get fund for library, and then they buy these subscription. So when you are in the university, if you are opening it is it in the paper in online web, then you will get access if the university has the subscription. Anyway, this is the traditional model. And then there was the in 1990s there was open access open access there was open access system came. Okay, so in open access system, wait a minute, give me 2 minutes. Okay, I think you can hear me. You can hear me? Hello.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
So in open access system, what happens? Basically, the the person who want to read it, he don't have to pay. It is opposite system. Okay. So what happens? So they don't have to pay. In gold open access, I will tell you again what there are types of open access. These all are types of open access. So here the people who want to read that piece of information, they don't have to pay, but authors have to pay article processing fee, and this is called gold open access system. So in this, authors will pay APC, article processing charges. So I don't know, means it is a big debate whether this is good or bad. Means at one place it is good, but at the other side it has a lot of problems. So in principle what should be there? Because we produce research using, most of the research is produced by using public money, taxpayers money. So it should remain available openly, open access. It should be in open access form, so that everybody can read that read that whenever he or she want. Okay. So then there is another type of open access system. It is called platinum open access system. And basically this platinum open access system is the best one. Okay. Why? Because in the platinum open access system, in the platinum open access system, the neither the author have to pay nor the reader or audience of the paper, they both don't have to pay anything. Similarly, there are others like green open access, hybrid open access, delayed open access. So delayed open access is, means there will be some embargo, like for 1 year after publication it will not be available open access. Usually this kind of system is in the journals which are run by societies, and those societies are funded by either the members, because they members pay every year membership fee, or by some agency like government agency or intergovernment agency. So means in my opinion, the best is platinum open access system, in which nobody has to pay. Then how how they will run? because because for running a journal you need funds, because you have to, basically you have to, nowadays you have to buy a domain on internet, and you have to maintain that website, and then you have to buy license for such as some softwares which are used for editing and reviewing, like a scholar one. So you need those software, you need copy editors, you need editorial desk agents. Means you have to hire 4 or 5 people, then only you will be able to. And you need to buy internet, and you need to buy office space. You need to, if it is a printed journal, then you have to buy the printing press and the papers, everything. So from where then they will get money? So platinum open access, in platinum open access system, usually uh, it is a government university, public university journal, or any society journal which is rich one, who gets a lot of money from the government or other agencies. or supported by some corporate house, something like that. So then only it can work. Similarly, hybrid open access is, so like in today's world, most of the journals are hybrid open access, means the authors will have option when they will submit the paper. They will have option either, so they can tick that they want to publish it as open access paper, or they want to publish it in subscription model. So if they will select that they want to publish it as open access article, then what will happen? Then they have to pay APC, like article processing charge. So like Springer and elsewhere journals, these are mostly hybrid open access journals. Similarly, delayed one, I told you what happens. So there will be one embargo period, then the paper will be like a subscription paper. Subscription, it will behave like subscription. So if you will go to the website of the journal and you try to open, then there will be a paywall. But after 1 year, if you will access, then it will open the PDF file. Okay. So I think distribution, you may understood what is, how the scholarly journals uh, are being distributed. If from this part you have any question, then you can ask. Then I will start with the next part. Dharmenji, if people have any question, then they can ask, or should I go ahead?
Participant, if you want any questions regarding to these presentations, you may unmute themselves and you may ask the questions, and you may also write in chat box.
Okay, so if you don't have any question, then I will go ahead with the next part. So that
Sir,
is,
one question is from in
yeah.
chat box from uh, participant side. What is the difference between green open access and gold open access?
So uh, gold open access is what I have told. That is classical, means first model of open access, where journals will charge article processing fee from the authors. Okay. And the or the audience of the, or the readers will not have to pay anything. Okay. Readers will have to the readers will have uh, reader will not pay anything. Okay. So, and green open access, where the accepted, means pre-print version of the paper, the authors put onto some server, like ResearchGate. Many of you may be knowing ResearchGate. So just before, means the accepted version of the paper could be put on some public repository or on authors institutes or universities website, the PDF copy. But it is pre copy editing version, and post copy editing version you are not allowed to put. You are allowed to put, so like these elsewhere and Springer, you can put accepted manuscript on ResearchGate, or PDF of accepted manuscript on your own website, or website of the university. But the copy edited and formatted version, after copy editing, you see na, with the elsewhere logo or with the Springer particular uh, publication style, that you cannot put in these repositories or on your website, your own website, or on your institute websites. So this is called, where this is allowed, that is called green open access. Okay. And then there is one more which is called as black open access. This I call as black open access. You know, Sci-Hub, many of you may be knowing Sci-Hub, SCIHUB. So Sci-Hub is a web, basically run by this. This is a server which is run by one Russian woman, and what she does, she steal. So people call her as Robin Hood of academic world. So she either people donate the key, or she steals the key of libraries, big libraries, big university libraries online. So they hack these keys, and when you search DOI of your intended research article in the Sci-Hub website, so Sci-Hub, there are many mirror sites of Sci-Hub, so you will find full text very easily. But in principle it is illegal because it infringes all copyright acts. And in India, in Delhi High Court, there is a case by Springer, elsewhere, Taylor and Francis. These publishing platforms, they have sued Sci-Hub, and the case is going on. Similarly, in USA, everywhere it is blacklisted. But on World Wide Web, it is available because they keep on changing the mirror site. So when you will in Google, you will search Sci-Hub mirror, you will find that website. And if you will put the DOI of the journal, you will find the full text. But in principle, it is illegal. Okay. Okay. So I think the query.
तुम्ही
Yeah.
तुमच्या पहिलं ठरलं होतं ते तुमच्या घरचे ऐकणं गेलेत, आता हे ठरले तर आमच्या घरचे ऐकणं गेले. बघ कसं करतो.
Okay, so I
बोलल्याप्रमाणे
will go.
करणार का? सगळं
Okay,
वरच्या
I
वर.
think. Hello, could you hear me? There is some disturbance actually. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay, so I will go ahead, and
Yes,
then
sir.
in the next, yeah, in the next part and in the end again, I will take questions. So types of journals. Now we will talk about types of journals. So when we start working, actually, when we should think that where we will send our work, in which journal we will send our work. When we will finish our work, then we will think, or what? No. So we should start thinking where our work could be published when we start working itself, when we frame our objectives. And it is, if we, for experienced researchers, it is not a big deal to understand or to estimate where their work will go. Okay. So how we understand that where our work which we are doing now will go? So in those terms, there are types of journals. Broadly speaking, there are generalist journals and there are specialist journals. Okay. For example, in science, Nature and Science are generalist journals, and the Journal of Biophysics is a specialist journal. So journalist journal means which chooses those topics, papers on those topics which are of broad spectrum and they have a big impact or high impact. So in literal meaning, high impact means what? High impact means some scientific work which can affect a big chunk of human population or humanity and its environment. That could be high impact work. So that's why these journals are called high impact journals, because they choose some papers to publish which have a broad effect on larger population of humans and their environment. Okay, but the journalist, the specialist journals, they have a they have a impact on a smaller part of human population and its environment. Okay, so so we there is another thing, like in this high impact journal, breakthrough research breakthrough research is being published, while incremental advances, it means incremental advances in the field, it means very small step ahead in some particular field, if such results are there, those will be published in lower impact journal or specialized journals. Okay, like here the example is the Journal of Biophysics. Okay, so what is an impact? So I told what is an impact, but in technical terms, in quantitation, what is an impact? So what is impact factor? So basically, in old days, the impact factor was discovered by Thomson Reuters, and Thomson Reuters was the uh, it is trademark or it is patented metric of Thomson Reuters. Now it is sold to Clavionics Analytics company. Okay, so Claviate Analytics. So now its name is that, the company name. Before it was Thomson Reuters, and Thomson Reuters was the owner of this patented metric. Okay, so the journal impact factor is measure of the frequency with which the average article in a journal has been cited in a particular year. So how it will be calculated, I will show you in the next slide. That total number of citations divided by total number of published papers. So the impact factor will help you to evaluate a journal's relative importance, especially when you compare it to others in the same field. So this was the purpose, and this impact factor was discovered by librarians. And why they discovered this? Because they wanted to know which journals they should prioritize for subscription, means to buy the subscription of the journal. Like if there is a library, and there will be millions of journals exist, thousands of journals will exist. So a librarian will not buy all the subscription. He has to prioritize according to the budget he has and how many, according to the budget, he will decide how many journals he will buy, the subscription of the journal he will buy. So he has to prioritize which journal he should buy first, means maximum people get advantage. So that, so this was discovered to prioritize the journals in their relative field. Okay, relative prioritization in the in journal of the field. But what happened later? So this was the formula. Like I said, impact factor is equal to number of citations, total number of citations earned, divided by total numbers of articles published, calculated over last 2 years. This is the formula to calculate. Let's say one journal has published, last year it has published 12 papers, this year it has published 14 papers. So 14 plus 12 divided by how many number of citations this journal has achieved. So when you divide that, then you will find impact factor. Okay, this looks simple. Is it too simple? Obviously not, because now we know why impact factor was discovered, because the librarians wanted to prioritize the journal so that they can buy the required journals. Okay, now grant agencies and grant accessors may use the impact factor of journal in which you have published as an indicator of the quality of your work. They may form an opinion of the value of your work without actually reading it. समझ में आ रहा है? Means the, because this impact factor stick to the journal name, and now people write basically the impact factor. So whether it is correct, means if we want to analyze that whether this scientific work is sound or not. So we, in principle, we should read it. We should read it, and we should, if it is from our field, we will know that it is, whether it is exhaustive or not, it is superficial, or it is very good or not. It has, means the researchers have used a lot of techniques, or they have produced good data. So for that we have to read that work. But what is happening when the person is putting in their publication list the journal name? Sometimes they write in bracket impact factor. If they will not write, then also by looking at journal name, the evaluator will know where it was published and how much impact factor is there. It is just one click away. So evaluator will know whether this, so even he will not read, the evaluator will not read the work. So, and he will say whether this work is good or not. So this is basically not fair, because it is possible that a big journal, due to many reasons, maybe the authors know editor, maybe authors don't know editor, and editor and authors have no good friendship. They have they means they have some enmity. So what will happen? Editor will not publish their paper. Then the paper will go to the lower impact journal. And if authors are friend of editor, then editor will try to review that. Means in principle he should not, but in practical it is possible. So he will send to his friend for review, or he will send to author's friend to review the paper, and then paper will be accepted. So it is possible that even a paper is published in high impact journal, still it is not of good quality. So with this, it is very clear that the impact factor was started for some other purpose, and now people are people are judging the scientific works and the scientist using impact factor, which is very wrong. But the problem is nobody have time. Okay, so the problem is nobody have time. Let's say there is one position of professor and there are 50 applicants, and all 50 applicants have published maybe 100 papers. So who will read those papers to tell the evaluator, means evaluate why evaluators, or when the application will be reviewed, why they will read so many of papers, and then they say okay, this person is good scientist or good researcher or bad researcher. So they look for a shortcut, and shortcut is impact factor. If if somebody has published few papers in very big impact factor, then they will immediately know okay, they will say okay, this is good scientist, this person is good scientist. Okay, so next, then there is question whether genuine journal evaluation tools or journal evaluation means impact factors, journal impact factors, there are good ones and there are bad ones. So we need to know, because then only we can select the journal, na? So there are few databases like I have shown here. Ongoing quest for discipline specific ranking for measuring quality. Okay, for in a particular field, if we want to know that relative importance of a journal is high or low, then basically we can look at impact factor and we will know. Okay, so there are some databases like journal citation report, like SCI, and then SSCI, science citation index, and social science citation index. Okay, that is journal citation report. Then there is web of science, and then there is Scopus, and then there is one more database, that is SciImago, journal and country rank. So in this all, this is only freely available database, that is SciImago, SciImago journal and country rank, SJR. This is only freely available. Rest all are, you have to subscribe that and you have to pay money. Okay, so it is the freely available thing is also equally good if you want to look for journals. But for example, if you want to compare researchers or institutions, then there is no utility in this database. Then you have to use Web of Science or Scopus, or Scopus or Web of Science, and that is paid. So here I am showing you the interface of SciImago. You can see, if you go, if you search in the Google SciImago, then you will find such interface. And what will happen if you just copy paste the journal's name in the box given, then basically you will find some interesting data which will help you to understand whether it is a good journal or not. So for example, I have searched New England Journal of Medical, NEJM, New England Journal of Medicine, NEJM. So you can see in the first column where you can see all the green blocks, and there are years given in the bottom. You can see now. So you can see in these years, it's how is its quality, and it is called as quartile. Quartile means, if people, I don't know if people from statistics background or maths background are there, they will understand what is quartile. So quartile is nothing. You just so this database have journals registered in particular area. For example, in the area of medicine, here you can see in the left side, medicine. So in medicine, let's say there are 100 journals are registered total. So in these databases, the entries are filled by the journal managers. So they will say in this journal is belong to this field. Okay. So let's say in medicine there are 100 journals which are registered. So what is Q1 or quartile 1 journal? Out of these 100, the top 25 will come in Q1. That is first quartile. And then second quartile is from 26 to 50. Okay. That is Q2. And then third one is from 50 to 75. And then fourth one, Q4, is from 51 from 76 to 100. So this is quartile. So similarly, if there will be 200 journals in the registered journal in the field, then it will be 50-50. Okay. So the Q1 means top 1/4. It comes into top 1/4. Okay. So this, from here we can know the position of the journal. Similarly, on the right side, you can find citation per doc. And this is, we already know what it is. If you calculate citation per doc for last 2 years, it is called impact factor. So here means number of citations divided by number of paper published in that particular time. So for 2 years, if you are calculating, it is impact factor. So here you can see its impact factor is around 41-42. New England Journal of Medicine. So when I made this slide, at that time it was highest impact journal. Okay. Similarly, there are other things you can see. Self citation, you can see. Self citation means from the same journal papers, if it is cited. Or you can remove self citation and you can calculate, and other things you can calculate here. You can see in the database, that is SC Imago. If you will search in the Google, you will find this. Okay. Similarly, there is journal citation report, and it also gives similar data. Okay. Total sites, and then impact factor, etc., etc. You can see. Now we come to fake metrics. So like I told you, that impact factor is a patented formula and name of only one agency. There could not be other impact factors, like people say global impact factor or Global Institute of Scientific Information, or like Einstein Institute, or Copernicus Index, something like that, Index Copernicus. So these all are fake metrics. Okay. So fake metrics or misleading metrics are numbers that are just made up. Okay. They are not calculated. They are just made up. Means the metrics, the owner of the matrix give whatever, you give them money, he will give you just any number, whatever you want. Okay. So companies sell these metrics and call them impact factors. Publisher use fake metrics on their website and in their spam email to make their journals look like real ones and attract more papers. Problem, the real impact factor data is not free. Okay. Anyway, so real impact factor data is not free, but in SCI Imago, you can see that basically that is free. One of only one free database where you can access. Okay, so what is the problem? Why this kind of fake impact factor thing came up? So if so, we need to go to little bit history why this happened, why predatory journals started, people have started publishing. So if we look at the history, then when UGC has applied API score system, then there means the academicians and people started this rat race. And what is that rat race? I will publish more and more, and I will not care for quality. So what will happen? Because they want to score more so that they will be promoted or they will be selected. If there will be high API, then they will be selected. But what happened? There was UGC did not have any quality control. How they will evaluate which journals they will accept and which journals they will not accept. Then in this meantime, in India, there was a lot of, because it was easy. The internet means in 1990s, internet speed of India and internet infrastructure was increased heavily, and structure, computational facilities increased. Like you can just, these journals can be managed from a single laptop, and you need a fast internet connection. That's it. You can manage such journals, and there is no need to review, nothing. You just take money and you publish. So that's why what happened means, when this screenshot was taken in October 2015, at that time 42% of fake single journals publishers are based in India. At that time, means 42% of the whole world fake journal publishers were in India. So if we look at the definition of the predatory journal, so predatory publishers are essentially fake or counterfeit publishers that often aim to trick researchers into thinking that they are legitimate. Means they are counterfeit, they are nakli, but they will pose such that you will think that they are asli, they are genuine. Okay. Unfortunately, they have often successful. They use journal titles that mimic or copy the titles of legitimate journals, and when listed on a CV, they look legitimate. So this definition was given by Jeffrey Bell, and Jeffrey Bell was the first person in the world who started working. He was a librarian in Colorado State University, USA. So what he did, he started making a database of these fake journals so that people, and he was writing a lot of articles in all journals and everywhere, in social media, in newspapers, to fight with this menace. Okay. So the means, you understand. So like so in India, because of UGC's API score policy, this happened, and most of the means more than 50%, more than 50% of more than 50% of these data means these journals publishers were in India. So, but UGC also have evolved its system, and in last 5 6 years they have they have taken help of many good academicians, and they have established a database at University of Pune, where they show where they maintain, it is called as UGC care list, UGC care database, where they maintain a white list of journals, and you can go to the website and you can see. I will go fast, otherwise it will be delayed. So you can see this chart here at the left side, where with time the impact factor is continuously increasing. So by looking at it, immediately you will know that this is a fake impact factor, because the real impact factor chart is not like that. We have already seen here Saimago data. Look at this on the right side. You see, it is not like a straight line, and it is not always increasing every year. Sometimes it decrease, and sometimes it is increase. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so why predatory journals are predatory publishers are problematic? So I will not go in detail. I will just tell you, because it will it will put junk information everywhere. Let's say for for any drug, or for any antibiotic, or for any, let's say for COVID, somebody has done anti-COVID, discovered anti-COVID drug, and it has been published, and then the drug companies or other researchers might use that to make it a complete medicine. But what will happen if the junk data or junk information is there everywhere, and there will be hundreds of anti-COVID drugs published in these junk predatory journals, which do not have proper peer review system. So what will happen? All the data which is not even correct, that will be published. Then what will happen? How how the companies or how the other researchers will take the lead? There will be no screen whether this this paper is correct or that paper is correct. So that's why these predatory publishers are very dangerous. Okay, so targeting a journal, again, like I said, when we start working, we know that whether our work is going to be a breakthrough, or our work will be a incremental advance or a small advance in the field. So means nothing is small, but it depends upon the research question, it depends upon the infrastructure, and also it depends upon type of institute where the research is being done. So we already know whether our work will go, we will send it to Nature, or we will send it to a smaller specialized journal. So everything is good, because without incremental advance, science cannot progress. Okay, so these big journals, you can see how many submissions, like Nature in a year, when it was written, in that year 250,000, means 2,50,000 submissions were happened. Okay, so most of them means like maybe less than 1% would be published. Okay, similarly, more specific journal like Diabetes Care have 15,000 submissions. Like American Journal of Epidemiology has 5,000 submission. Epidemiology, which is even more specific, that has 1,000 submissions. Okay. So is your paper of very general interest or significance, or is it of more interest to us specialist group? When we start working, we know the topic, we know the status of literature in that field, we immediately know, we know from inside that where our paper could be published, whether in the specific specialized journal or a high impact breakthrough journal. Okay. So targeting journal, if there is a big advance or breakthrough, then target a big journal. If you have incremental advance, then aim more modestly in the specialized journal. So when should you be thinking about which journals to target? Before you even start the research. When you are thinking to start your research, you would be knowing that which journal you are going to target, like I said before also. If you are addressing an issue widely perceived as important, your chances of being published in high impact journal are far greater from the outset. Okay. Now what publishers want? So they want well written submissions. Okay. So when you are ready, when you are writing, what you have to do, you should go to the where you want to submit. So you go to the journals page. On the journals website, you can check scope, aims and scope of the journal. When you will read that paragraph, immediately you will know, immediately you will know whether your work fits in that journal or not. Okay. Similarly, like they fall clearly within the field. How you will know? Like I said, you have to go to the scope and aims of the journal. So all the journals will have this tab. As soon as you will go and you will check the website, you will find that. Provided an advance in knowledge. Your work should add, either it is incremental advance, some advancement, whether it is in inch, there should be some new results, then only it will be published. Your manuscript will be more desirable to the editor if it contains a big advance in knowledge or addresses a current and topical area. Like there was a lot of COVID papers were published during these last 2-3 years. Okay, because it was topical. It was addressing, those papers were addressing a current problem. Okay. What publisher want? They want well written submissions conform to the journal's format requirement. So like I said, first you go to the journal's website and you see aims and scope. Then you see, when you think it fits, then you see author's guideline. There is another tab. You can see author's guideline. When you click that tab, you will see there will be a detailed information, the format, what means, what heading come first, what heading should go later, and like you write introduction, etc. I will tell you now. All modern journals have web page from which you can access, download information, instructions of authors or author's guideline. Okay. Criteria used by editor, this where it can be very frustrating. Most good journals receive many more submission than they publish. Thus, the editors can usually afford to be very choosy. Obviously, like I showed, there was 250,000 submission in Nature, and most of them are rejected, obviously. Okay. So Science, Nature, BMJ, Lancet article acceptance rate is equal to 10%, and later there is high chance. Okay. More than, because it is a smaller piece. Okay. So criteria used by editors, all quality journals use a form of peer review process. Like I said, I told you single blind peer review. What is that? Means author's name will be there on the manuscript, and you, but authors will not know who has reviewed their manuscript. It means the reviewers will be anonymous. Then there is another system, that is double blind. And in double blind, what happens? When you submit your paper, your name is redacted. So even reviewers, peer reviewers will not know whom work we are reviewing. Okay, so that is double blind. So you may submit your manuscript online for most of the journals. The journal sends you an acknowledgement. When when you will submit all the files, then they will send you acknowledgement. Okay, we have received your article and we will get back to you when we will have comments. Okay, after submission you wait 1 to 3 months, usually 3 months or 4 months, or sometimes in social science journals it could be 6 months, something like that. Then these peer reviewers give some comment. They will read your paper and they will give comments. Then so there is a joke written here. There are only two times I feel stress: day and night. Means, or then you will think, oh, okay, what would be happening to my manuscript? What kind of comment they will write? Something like that. Selecting your potential external reviewers. So previously, now this practice is mostly finished. uh, Nobody, no, most of the journals now don't want potential reviewers, because there are reviewer databases in the submission system, and they automatically select by keywords. Like if somebody has published some papers in last 3 4 years, and those keywords are matching with the topic of research you have written in your manuscript. Okay, then when these comments will come back, the editor and the editorial board consider the reviews and contact you with a decision. So possible outcomes means most probable outcome is rejection. Means it is rare only, or there will be two things: either it is reject, or they will ask to revise. So if it is rejected, then you have to carefully look at it. Means, like here there is a joke. What it is written? First the tears, then the anger. This is not merely a rejection, it's bloody execution. It's like someone has punished you. Okay, it will feel like that, but it's okay. Means this is how research work. So editors are supposed to act as informed judges, weighing up the strength of your arguments against the criticism raised by the reviewers. So reviewers are the peer reviewers, are the person who are working in the same area. So they will be aware of tools and techniques, and also the literature, existing literature in that area. So they can comment whether your work is sound or not, or what kind of changes you can make. So this kind of comment they will give. And however, then editors are stretched for time and the reviewers are unpaid expert. Okay, so this is in publishing industry. The peer reviewers are unpaid. There is no money. So what happens? Sometimes, let's say, this peer reviewer or editor, he he is coming from his home to his office, and his wife was very angry, and that's why he was uh, he was like pissed off. So when he will come and he don't have time, and it is a thankless job. So sometimes it happens that even your work is good, but still he will reject it. Okay, so this may happen anyway. So what will happen if rejected? If rejected, then what are the options? Move on to next journal. Incorporate changes to counter any criticism encountered. So you will read the comments. If you look at it and you find it useful, then basically change your manuscript accordingly, or your analysis, add extra analysis if it warrant. Okay, if you have a case, write to the editor with a calm, clear and fact centered rebuttal of criticism. Okay, so this is also one way. Like, if you feel that the rejection is unjustified, so what you will do, you will make point, you will write down all the comments and you will make point by point response. You will write why, but with your logical argument, why the comments of the reviewers are wrong. You have to write in a very logical argument, for counter argument for their comment. Okay, if not satisfied with the editor's response to your rebuttal, write to the managing editor. This is the extreme point, means when you do. So other more desirable outcomes, you are requested to submit. So first one was the rejected and then rejected. Then what you will do, then other one is more desirable, that is you are requested to submit a revised manuscript. 98-99% you will get this. If either you will get rejected or you will get this. So the third, which is the rare of the rarest, so I have published like 98 Scopus Index research and review articles, and only one time it happened that when I submitted my manuscript, it came back, there was no comments and the editor wrote that it is accepted. Otherwise, either it will be rejected or it will they will ask that you submit a revised version and you have to address those comments which are given by the reviewers. Okay, so I will quickly tell you a good paper, what makes a good paper. So key features of well written articles: beauty of style and harmony and grace and good rhythm depend on simplicity. It is said by Pluto. So Plato, so what Plato said, that you should make, whenever you are writing, you should write very simple. If you will write complicated, there is no need to impress people with your vocabulary, or means there is no need of, means if you are writing a scientific paper, so you no need to become Shashi Tharoor. Okay, you have to write as simple as possible so that any person who is not directly even in your field but other field of science, because that could be a peer reviewer, he should understand what you are writing. Okay, a clear, concise and meaningful title which create interest, means title is the first thing. Okay, so title and abstract and conclusion, these are very important, because when someone want to have a quick glance, they will look at the title and they will read the abstract, and then sometimes people read conclusion. Okay, what was the outcome? Okay, so like title, the epidemiology of physical activity in children, college student, middle-aged men, menopausal female and monkeys. This looks so, means so many sentences they have merged. So this title is very bad. So good title you can see: super course to end Arab isolation, that was published in Nature. Okay, then counting birds, bees and NCDs. that was published in Lancet. Death of biomedical journals, that was published in British Medical Journal. Okay, then an introduction that briefly provides a context for the work presented and explicitly identifies the gap in knowledge addressed. You understand? So in introduction, what you will write? You will write, there is some disturbance. So in introduction, what you will write? You will write brief literature review. What was happened before in the same field, and then you will write. So there are three parts of the introduction, good introduction. First, you will systematically review what has done before on the topic and in chronological order, and then you will say, okay, this is the status of the field, and now this thing is unknown. And then in the third part of introduction, you will write what your work has addressed in just 4 or 5 lines. So there will be three parts. First, chronological text, that okay, in this field, this field is important and this has been published, this has been done, this has been done, this has been done. Then second part, you will write this is unknown, and then you will write your summary of your work in 4 or 5 lines, and you will tell, okay, that is the gap, and now our work is addressing that gap. So this is introduction. Okay, detailed description. Then there is material and method. So detailed description of material and methods used, sufficient for other researchers to reproduce. So you should write methodology part like that. If somebody read your paper, some other person in the field, he can reproduce your results. It should be right in such precise manner. Results presented in a logical and clear way. Then you write your results clear and logical way. A critical and scholarly discussion of the state of the field and the contribution of the piece of work to the advancement to the knowledge. Okay, so in discussion, what we write, basically whatever results we have produced, one by one we take, and in the context of the people who have worked before, which is published in literature, and we discuss that how, again, what was done by others, and now how our result in comparison to them, basically what it gives extra information, this we will write. So we will cite those directly related papers, and we will write what our contribution adds to the knowledge. Okay, so discussion of the state of field and the contribution of this piece of work to the advancement of knowledge, and then what are the implications of your research. Okay, so in the last part you will write what are the implications, what are the advantage of this work, what new information it is given, and then in if there is any limitation of previous work. So like others, if others have done similar work, but there are limitations, which limitations are fulfilled by your work, this you have to present. Okay, what needs to be done in the future to solve remaining uncertainties. So now you will write in the very last part of the discussion that what is still, what is still unknown, and what kind of experiments or what kind of work should be done to address those unknown questions. Okay, so the writing process, what is the one thing which basically nobody have, that is time. So you must make this available so that you can really concentrate, obviously. So we have to take switch off from everywhere. Like we are teacher in university, so we have to, means we have to really work hard, and we have to close ourselves in our office so that we can write a paper. Okay, so the writing process, as a rough guide, it usually takes me about 1 to 104 weeks to draft a paper. Means it can be anything, because paper research writing is a careful job. And but when you will write, you will publish, then you will again write, you will publish, and you will increase your quality day by day. Then basically you will learn more and more. In this office, everyone is treated, so this is a joke, treated with respect and dignity. Thank God we can still be rude to computers. Okay, so the writing process, practical tips: actively seek out critical readers. Yeah, so like your friends or your collaborators or your lab mate or who work in the similar field. So you write it. Once the draft is ready, you give it to them. If you are a PhD student, then your fellow PhD student who work in the similar area. So they will read critically and they can give very good suggestions. And have a mentor. Obviously, there should be a supervisor or somebody who can read. Okay, try and anticipate points of criticism from, so you should anticipate, you should imagine, you should basically, you should simulate that what kind of questions reviewers can ask. So first article, like 15 draft, and best articles get 5 to 10 rejections. So 15 drafts means 15 times you correct it, your supervisor is correcting, and then you are again incorporating those changes, and then again supervisor is correcting, something like that. Then only we can do that. Okay, so in the last, manuscript containing innumerable references are more likely a sign of insecurity than a mark of scholarship. Okay, so we don't need to unnecessarily quote references. Where we use information from some article, some previous work, we have to quote, but we cannot write, we cannot copy. So that is another topic, plagiarism. I don't know if maybe somebody has covered in this course. So it is not mark of scholarship. Okay, so in the end, if there is some 1-2 question, I will be happy to address. I think I
Yeah, so
finished within the time.
thank you so much, sir. And this plagiarism has been taken in yesterday's session by Dr. Vineet.
Okay,
So,
wonderful.
yeah, he has covered all these things in very detail.
Okay, wonderful.
So, thank you so much, sir, for your very informative session. It's really great learning from your lectures as a researcher point of view. So now I would like to invite our participants. If you have any queries regarding your this particular session, you can ask.
Sir, what is citation index?
Citation index. So citation index is a kind of like metric, like citation, correct? Like if some journal is publishing, so like science, so like they have given journal citation index. They have they have divided into two groups, that is science citation index and one is social science citation index. So what they do, they track that in last 2 years how many citations have been have means citations have been given, the papers published in particular journal, and they have a database, and they track the citation, and they track how many articles they have published, and then they calculate journal citation index, means impact factor actually. So, and these index, if something is indexed there, means some journal is indexed there, so we call it is an index journal, means it is present in that list, that is science citation index. And if it is a social science journal, then it should be in social science citation index. So if that journal is tracked by that agency,
Hmm.
and its index is called citation index. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir.
Yeah. So there is a this queries regarding H index. What is H index? One or
So
two.
H index, okay, so H index is, let's say, how many, means how many of your papers are cited, cited the number of times, let's say your nine, your minimum, let's say your nine papers, there are sounds.
Yeah.
So let's say your 9 papers are cited at least 9 times. So your H index will be how much? 9. Or your 10 papers are cited at least 10 times. Mean the minimum citation of a paper in this list will be the number of papers we are talking about. For example, my H index is, let's say, 52, or my H index is 29. So it means I have, so if I will arrange my publications according to number of citations, so highest cited paper on the top, and then I come down one by one. Okay, so what will happen? It means there are 29 papers which are cited at least more than 29 times. So the minimum citation in this list has 29 citations, and it comes at 29th position if I arrange by, so let's say somebody's H index is 8. It means that person's 8 papers are cited at least minimum 8 times. It means the lowest citation in on the 8th position of paper will have 8. So if you
Sir,
will go, yes,
sir, there is a confusion in
yeah,
my mind. It's an individual citation of any paper, or it's a combined citation of all the research 8 papers.
no, it is individual paper citation. So if
It
you will
means
arrange,
we have 8 papers, published papers, and each
yeah,
paper has 8 citation, minimum 8 citation.
correct. If you will see, I am showing you
Because in the
this.
research gate and Google Scholar, they will say the H
No,
index.
no, that means they will calculate automatically. But let's see here. I am showing you.
Please share
Uh,
your screen, sir.
yeah.
Okay, please unmute yourself, sir. Your voice is not coming, sir. Your voice is not coming. I think there is some issue from your side.
Okay, now you can.
Yeah, yes. Now it's,
Okay, so when I am sharing
yeah,
the tab, so anyway, so
yes.
if you go to Google Scholar and
Hmm.
you go to you arrange your papers by citation. So there are two columns on the right side. One is cited by, another is year. So if you will
Ye-
click at this cited by, so what will
hmm.
happen? It will arrange the highest citation papers first and then
yeah, top.
chronologically down. So for example, in my Google profile, I see my H index is 23. Okay, it means if we start counting from the top, okay, on the 23rd place, the number of citation gained by 23rd paper will be 23 at least.
Mm-hmm.
You got the point? Similarly,
Yes.
if it is 8, then at the 8th position, the
Hmm.
minimum citation will be 8.
8. Okay. And the top
Okay.
of that.
And then top will be whatever 100, 200, 300.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
So,
So it means
what is the end point? That will be the H index.
correct. What is the end point? That will be the H index.
Okay. So, any doubt from the participants? Yeah, someone was asking. Someone was asking about is the review paper will be considered as the research publication.
Actually, not review paper. So actually, UGC rules are ambiguous, but like in our university, in my university, Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar Central University at Lucknow, the PhD rules, they have clearly written that 2 research papers, and in bracket they are writing the reviews are not included.
No, sir.
So
Actually, he's talking about CAS, career advancement scheme.
in career advancement scheme, everything is counted.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether it's a reviewed paper or.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
जी.
please.
Sir, sometimes it is Scopus H index भी होते हैं and there is Google Scholar H index like
Correct.
this.
So Google Scholar, actually Google Scholar is not very authentic and not very good database, because it is not, we call it in a technical term, non-curated database. It is means the person whose profile is there, he is responsible for cleaning the data himself. And also Google Scholar, what it does, it will include the citation. For example, my name is there in Central University Himachal Pradesh minutes of the meeting of academic council, and my name is there. So what will happen? Google Scholar will take it as a citation sometimes. So Google Scholar also take newspaper citation sometime. Google Scholar also take thesis citation. But like Scopus, so Scopus is more stringent. And sometimes in Google Scholar, what will happen? In Google Scholar, if you are not cleaning your profile and there is some person who has same name, then, or like my name is Yusuf Akhtar. So somebody is in Bangladesh, or somebody is somewhere in Madras. Also his name is Y Akhtar. So what Google Scholar does, it picks those citations and those paper, and it will add, if you have not switch off that setting, then it will add papers in that. So that's why there are various reasons. Because of that, the data in Google Scholar and Scopus are different. And like I said, Google Scholar also count thesis citation. If somebody in his thesis cite your paper and that thesis is online, so Google Scholar will pick that. Similarly, like in Shodh Ganga, if it is there, so Google Scholar will pick. Similarly, Google Scholar will pick from other sources also if your name is written there. So that's why this citation and that citation in Scopus or Web of Science and Scopus are more strict. They take only journals, and that also means index journals citation. So that's why always Google Scholar H index is higher than Scopus H index. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Sir,
Yes. Yes.
there
Yes.
is, I have seen that, most probably I have seen that H index and HI index, high index.
Yeah.
Is it
So
same?
I index is, it is I10 index.
Yes, sir,
So like,
something.
yeah, so like so I10 index is only, it will check the 10th paper and minimum number of times it is cited. So for example, if I arrange it from highest citation to lower citation, my 10th paper, in that list, 10th paper how many times cited, that is my I10 index. So for example, I have 53 I10 index. It means my 10th paper is cited more than 53 times. Understood? So that is I10 index.
Okay, sir. There is a
Yes,
question.
sir.
What is the
Sir,
difference between?
one more question, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Please.
Uh,
Please.
sir, uh, it is written that it is a national index journal and international. In which aspects, or how we are deciding it is a national index journal or international, if you explain, sir?
No, so there is no national index now actually, and for sciences only, means if you will check UGC care list and there is some Indian journal is there, then you can say it is national index journal. Okay, if it is there, but there are very rare, because now UGC care list is very tight. Otherwise only Scopus and Web of Science index journal, for science people only Scopus and Web of Science index journals are valid. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Since we are running late, so we will take one more question. What is the difference between book chapter and research publication? Dr. B.L. Manjula is asking.
So book chapter is, means nowadays when the time of this commercialization happened, usually book chapters are useless, because the problem is people, that's why you will see even in API book chapters get very less number and research paper gets more. The problem is the peer review, there is no peer review, so it's like fuzzy, you know, means whatever author is writing, the editor will see, and it will submit to the publisher and it will be published. There is no robust peer review. So I would say, if you have written something, try to publish in journal, even if it is not a research thing or review, publish it in journal. It will have more value and it will be read by some reviewers and they will suggest some improvement, and then your paper will be regarded better. Book chapter is just waste of time. Okay.
Okay, so what about Embase? Dr.
Sir, hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Sir, actually, sir, although you are mentioning this API score, sir,
Yeah.
it is two way it is done. Uh, uh, when I have seen it is written like university and some college like this. What it is, sir? Which one is appreciated and how?
No, there is no two way. There is a standard. You should read UGC regulation 2018, and in the appendix, when these regulations finish, there is appendix, there are tables where you can find how API scores. Now its name is changed, now it is called as academic score. It is not API anymore. Previously it
Yes.
was API. Now it is academic score. So that
Yeah.
academic score, how you will calculate, that is given in the appendix of UGC regulation 2018. Okay,
हाँ.
and it is not
और
two-way. If
और
somebody is
उसके
doing
लिए
that,
और उसके लिए रिफ्रेशर, ओरिएंटेशन, एफडीपी ऐसा अलग अलग क्राइटेरिया होते हैं सर. और उसका प्रमोशन अलग अलग लेवल होते हैं. 7 लेवल, 8 लेवल, 9 लेवल, 13 लेवल ऐसा होता है साहब.
correct.
Okay, so thank you, Sokaji, for adding. So some of our agricultural participants are there. So they are asking about NAS and without NAS rated journals. Yeah, because NAS rating is that
So
is
NAS
National
rating,
Agriculture
NAS
Science.
rating is used by agricultural
Yes, yes.
council, ICAR.
National, yes, yes. National
So
Academy
so
of Agriculture
Indian,
Sciences.
yeah, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. So but whenever you will go to other institutions like UGC, where UGC rules are followed, there is no, means it there is no value of actually NAS score, because
Yeah,
they
are
will
actually,
they
yeah,
will
they are
go,
important
yeah, that is for agricultural institutes.
agriculture universities or agriculture institutes. So thank you so much, sir, for your very informative session. I hope and I'm sure that participants have learned many things. So can you share your email ID in the chat box, sir, if they need any queries in the future?
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can
sure.
ask you.
Where is okay,
Yeah, you
here
can
in the
write in
chat.
the chat box, sir.
Okay, I'm writing my email ID.
So if you
Hello.
have any doubt,
Hello.
yes, yes, please.
Hello. Am I audible,
Yes,
sir?
Dr. Manoj, yes, please.
Sir, what about Embase journal as compared to Web of Science and Scopus? You just said how good it is.
Emboss, that is
Me-
also indexing agency. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, like Web of Science and Scopus. Similarly, Emboss also is one agency which index journals, and that is also fine.
Like as you said, comparison to Web of Science and Scopus
So
about
for
Google
see,
Scholar.
no, Google Scholar is not an indexing agency, no.
That is not
Google is,
interesting.
yeah. So Web of Science and Scopus is also database, but that is database of, means if some journal is there, then you will be very sure that okay, my work is going in correct place. And for science streams, there is means they have, you should check first. So like I gave you this free database where you can check Scopus index journal, that is SC Imago. If you will search in Google, you will find that database. That is free. And if you will go to Web of Science website or Scopus website, there you cannot access if you don't have subscription of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So thank you so much, sir, for your informative session. So we have to wind up now.
Okay. Thank you.
So because this is the research topic, many queries will come. Sir has also
Yeah,
shared
means
his
you
email.
can. Yeah, you can send my email. I will reply.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thanks to all the
Okay, thank you.
participants. So we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yadav, sir.